I just want to give a big thank you to all the Democrats. Thank you, you feckless cowards. I cannot believe that I am going to say this today. When I was a little girl, my mom, she gave me a pen. If I remember correctly, it was a pen that said, I'd rather be a Democrat. I had that pen for a long period of time until I can't remember if I lost it or if I put it somewhere, if I think it broke. But anyway, looking back on it, if that pen did break, maybe it was a sense of foreshadowing that I did not see at that particular time. But the one thing that I can truly say after voting for the Democratic Party ever since I was 18, for the first time in my life, I am absolutely positively ashamed of being a Democrat right now. I really am. Because feckless cowards, politicians who were worried about their political futures, their jobs, and their races, their current races that they are running to have to grab the Senate and the House, pundits who are nothing but talking heads, the relentless media, the pressure from the media, donors who don't live the lives like regular ordinary Americans. Wealthy donors who are just giving their money because of what they want to get out of it at this particular time. Polls, which I never really pay attention to because these polls, the pollsters, they never seem to come to me. They never talk to people I know. Where are all these polls that are saying this person's in the lead, that person's in the lead, when it's only a small group of people? It's not the grand majority. It's not regular people like you and me. Today, Joe Biden has decided to drop out of the race. To me, I felt he was our only hope of beating Trump. But the thing that bothers me, one of the things that bothers me about the Democratic Party, is that you people still keep thinking that you're playing by the rules. There aren't any rules. Ever since Trump came into the political realm and sullied the White House the first time around, the rules have been thrown out. And you know that this is the case because of Trump, the candidate himself. His people, his base, which everyone says is a cult. Yeah, I think pretty much it's a cult. But I also, deep down, I've always seen the Trump base as a more likely a fan club. These are fans who can vote. It's no different from if Michael Jackson had lived and if he had ran for office and became president and he did a horrible job as president. Knowing me, because I'm such a diehard fan, I'd more than likely vote for him. That's how Trump people, voters are. They're fans. They're just fans because they remember the time when he was supposedly back in the 80s when he was a wealthy businessman, which he wasn't. He got his money from his father. And when he was the a TV show star of The Apprentice, which I never watched. I never watched that show. And the only time I've seen that show was clips when it was on ET or Extra or whatever. I didn't care. But anywho, these are nothing but fans with a vote. And there hasn't been any rules. ever since Trump came down that escalator and decided to run for president. And the only reason why he wanted to run for president, because Obama embarrassed him at the White House Press Club dinner when he showed that Lion King clip, taking it and telling Trump, fuck you, with this birtherism nonsense. That's the reason why we got this piece of shit in the White House the first time. And again, about his base and why I say there are no rules is because of him, period. These people know. They know he's a liar. They know he's a grifter. They know he's a thief. They know he's a fraudster. They know he's a con man. They know he's a cheat. They know he's a philanderer. They know he's an adulterer. They know he's a rapist. They know he's a racist. And for that last one, for some of them, that's part of his charm. No doubt, that's part of his charm. They know all about this man and the evil that he brings. And they don't care. They don't care. They even know that he too is old and he's losing it. If you have watched any of these clips over the past year, the one who is truly don't have the mental capacity to lead is Donald Trump. Why? The man is sitting up here at his standing up here at his rallies, talking about sharks and rather being electrocuted. And the late great Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is not real. He never has been. He never will be. Was he based on a real person? I guess. I don't know. But he's not a real person. And he's not even dead. If he means Anthony Hopkins is alive and well. And he's horrified by the bullshit that Trump has said. Even he's horrified. Praising a serial killer, a fictional serial killer. Does that sound like a man who has the mental capacity to lead? Hannibal Lecter is not real. And like I said, Anthony Hopkins, he's alive and well. In fact, he has a show on Peacock right now that I'm going to be looking at after I finish doing this bullshit. So what Trump is talking about, I don't even know. But I do know this, that his base, that his delegates, they gave him the nomination, and the voters, his section of voters that he has, they're going with him anyway, knowing full well that he's a piece of shit. Not just a piece of shit, but an old piece of shit, an old demented piece of shit on top of it. They know. They know this man is messed up, and they're still going with him. But not feckless Democrats. No, not them. With Joe Biden, oh, he's old. Get rid of him. These people put a 90-minute debate against almost 4 years of all the accomplishments that Biden gave us. That infrastructure bill that Trump kept saying was coming, he passed that. Biden passed that. The economy is doing great post-pandemic. A pandemic that Trump shit the bed on, that he kept saying was a hoax, that he kept saying wasn't real, that he kept saying that the Democrats were using coronavirus to mess with his administration. And then when it showed up on his doorstep and started killing people, then he decided to do something about it. But it was too little too late. There are so many families now who have to look at an empty place at the dinner table because of Trump. If it had been Hillary or anybody else, it would have been taken care of, and it wouldn't have gotten this bad. But it did because of him. And then on top of it, I still don't understand why he is allowed to run anyway, considering that he caused the insurrection. People died that day, and more people died of suicide. Those cops who was defending the Capitol, they they committed suicide. Some of them committed suicide because they just couldn't wrap their heads around what happened that day, and they couldn't live with themselves. And he took no responsibility for it. He keeps calling it, oh, it was a peaceful, loving day. He did nothing for almost 3 hours as that chaos ensued. Nothing. He was the one who caused that. And you want to put him back after what he did? After what he said? I I don't understand this country. I don't understand this world. I don't understand why evil is always allowed to persist and good gets trampled on. All these stories of being told that good triumphs over evil, well, when it comes to the political world, it's all for naught. It's all for naught. Democrats, you had a chance to stand by your president, the person who was running, and all you did was bombard him with, oh, Joe, you're old. You're old. You're. So fucking what? So was the other guy. Stop thinking that 3 years, a 3 years difference mean Trump is a spring chicken. He's not. You already know the man is off. You already know the man probably is suffering from Alzheimer's dementia because it runs in the family. Because Fred Trump died from it. And he's showing all the hallmarks of it. My grandmother died of Alzheimer's dementia. And the way he talks and the way he acts is how my grandmother started. But no, Biden is the one he's the one who's old and decrepit. So what if he's 81? And so what if the man has a stutter, a lifelong stutter? What I calm down, Rob, calm down. America has had a love affair with old white men running this country since the first old white man, George Washington. And newsflash, when he was president, he was considered old because the life expectancy was short back then. Men were dying in their early to mid 60s back then. And he was in his 50s or 60s when he was president. And I think he finally died when he was in his early to mid 70s, which was considered a very long time back then. And when you look at all the other presidents who have run this country, they have all been elderly white men. They have all been men over the ages between 55 and 65, retirement age. Some of them running and even becoming elected post-retirement age. There's only been 3 young presidents at the age of about 40 to 45. And we all know who they were. Say it with me now. Kennedy, Clinton, and Obama. Those were the 3 that were the youngest because they were in their early to mid 40s when they became president. All the other presidents were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And if you don't believe me, go on Wikipedia and look it up. You'll see it. You will see it. And the 3 oldest that we had was, say it with me now, Reagan, Trump, and Biden. They were the 3 oldest. And in fact, when Reagan was just about to leave office, he was 81 also, and he was suffering from Alzheimer's. This is why we always had that running joke back in the day saying that Nancy ran the country. Because she basically did. I was hoping that what Joe would do would be to run, win, and then after about maybe a year, 2 years, but maybe at least a year, then hand the presidency to Kamala. And Kamala could have had a 10-year term because uh, 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 she would have to fill out his term, then run on her own, and if she win that, be president in her own right, and then run again and be president and win and be president then for re-election. But no, Joe was dropped out. And so now I'm hoping that Kamala will run because she's the only one who can access the money. There is no way that no other male candidate could come in, white male candidate, could come in to replace Joe Biden, because if you were to do that, and quiet as it's kept, just as AOC said, and as even Roland Martin said a few days before AOC said it, they want to get Joe out and they want to get Kamala out. They do. They're not supporting Kamala either. These pundits and polls and other politicians, especially other politicians and the elites and whatnot, they're not rooting for Kamala either. So if you scrap the whole ticket and you get 2 new white men, let's say, for example, Gavin Newsom and Pete Buttigieg, or from my state, Josh Shapiro and Pete Buttigieg. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name right. Gavin Newsom is practically despised in his whole state. Josh Shapiro wouldn't become president because he's Jewish. And we know how this country is. The people of this country want old white Christian man. Let's take that back. Old white straight Christian man to be president. So Josh Shapiro wouldn't get it. And Pete Buttigieg wouldn't get it because he's gay. Do you really think this country would vote a gay man as president? I would. I definitely would. But the country as a whole, nope. They only want white, straight, Christian, male. That's all they want. And when it comes to Kamala, I would hope and pray that she could run and win, but I doubt it because we've seen what Trump has done with women the last time a woman ran against him. All that emails bullshit over and over and over and over again. And get this, when he got into the White House and he made his little princess Ivanka strutting her stuff all around the Oval Office, she did the exact same thing that Hillary did, and no one said anything. No one bat an eye. When her husband walked away with $2 billion that the Saudis gave to him, did anybody say anything about it? No, nobody bat an eye. But they kept going on about Hunter and his bullshit. And he was a private citizen. It didn't mean anything. But no, that's what they wanted to talk about. These people in Washington. I don't know if Kamala can beat Trump because of how he treats women. He doesn't respect women. We've seen it the first time. And if you think he's going to respect her because she's an African American, part African American, part Asian American woman, no, he's not. He's definitely not going to respect her. Because he's going to go on about her race. He's going to go on with birtherism crap, just like he did with Obama. And he's going to go on about her being female. And he's going to find one little thing to nitpick about her and run with it. And she is the only one who can run in Joe Biden's place because she's the only one who can get the DNC money. The money, the money that has been raised cannot go to any other candidate. It's too late to get another candidate except for Kamala. And if they had had this conversation a year ago, maybe I could understand that. But 3 freaking months away from the election, 1 month away from the convention, are you kidding me? Democrats, you shot yourself in the foot playing these stupid games, thinking that you're playing by the rules. Like I said, there aren't any rules. And you people just effectively handed the country back to Trump. You handed it back to him. Roe v. Wade is never going to be the law of the land ever again. Project 2025 is going to go into effect. All the good that has been done with this economy and with the stock market rising continually on a daily basis, all that's going to be broken should Trump win. And with the way things are going, I think he will now. Because of you feckless Democrats. My mom was the one who taught me that being a Democrat was better because the Republicans deep down did not care about the people, especially black people. They only care about rich white people. That's all they cared about. And I have seen that. And it's still that way. Democrats tried to do something for everybody. They tried to help all people, especially people of color. Over the years, my mom and I, we had defended, my mom, my sister and I, and all of our relatives, we had defended the Democratic Party. Anytime there was some criticism, we listened, we understood some things, but at the end of the day, we still tried to defend the party. and the people in the party, because we always had this feeling that the people in the party were trying to do their best for us. But now I can see that it's been what critics have said all along, that a lot of the people in the party, especially the politicians, they don't care. All they care about is the donors, the money, and how they can keep their positions. And if they can keep their positions and do a little bit of good for the regular person, the average Joe, then that's the icing on the cake. But after all this crap that has been said and done with Joe Biden, I'm pissed and I'm angry. The only thing that I can hope for is that since he already has the votes in the convention, now, I don't know how these things are going to go. I am not a politician. I'm not a delegate. I don't know anything about politics. The only thing that I could say, that the only good that I can say that Trump did, was that he was such a terrible president that he made someone like me stand up and pay attention to what's going on in the country and how a leader has to be better than that. But I don't know how these things are going to go. I don't know how it's going to play out. All I know is that the Republican National Convention is over with, and the Democratic Convention is in a few weeks. I think it's supposed to be starting August 19th, I think. I think it's from August 19th to August 23rd or something like that. The only thing that I can hope is that maybe, just maybe, the delegates will keep Joe's name somewhere on the ballot or whatever, and that if it comes through that the delegates say that this is who they want, maybe he will accept it. I don't know. But the way things are right now, with him dropping out, it might not even be likely. They might have a whole bunch of names for delegates to throw out. I don't know. Somebody might throw out Kim Kardashian's name for all I know. All I know is this is a mess, and the Democrats did it. You think you're playing by the rules, and there aren't any rules. The MAGA base is standing by their candidate, even though they know that he's a piece of crap. They know it. And you just gave your best chance of winning the finger because of age. I will take that age because of wisdom and experience, because Joe Biden actually knew what he was doing. He'd been in the Washington game for 50 years. And yes, I know it's a lot. He knew that trickle down economics during the Reagan years was not going to work because he saw it. He saw that it didn't work. And that's why he tried to help the middle class, and the money that was going to the middle class would go down to the lower class and then up eventually to the upper class. He did so much good for this country, and Democrats just threw it down the drain. I blame all of you for handing the country back to Trump if it goes this way. I'm going to blame every single Democrat who said that Joe needed to give up and pass the torch. I'm blaming all of you. if Trump wins. And right now, it looks like he probably will. So for that, fuck you.